Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hello, Aaron, Shawnee, Rosa, Ash, Jeremiah, Rachel. Hello. How's everybody doing today? Everyone else have one of those days when 5 minutes after waking up, you know there's not enough coffee in the world to help make it through the day? Yes, I absolutely know those days. 100%. Hondo percent. Hello, everybody. Hello, Silver. Hello, Linda. Hello, Angel. That was you yesterday. I woke up so mad I didn't have more time to sleep. That's fair. Hey, Clara. Woke up, couldn't find my glasses. It's got downhill since then. No. It's interesting. I feel like we are fighting two realities right now. I feel like that's the problem. You know? Pretty mad at my congresswoman. She's continuously refusing to talk about Keith Porter, but no issue talking about Good and Preddy. Yeah. Yeah. Woke up, couldn't find my glasses. That's the worst. It's pretty much the worst. But yeah, I feel like the reason this is exhausting is we're fighting two things at the same time, like two separate things. Like we're talking about the normal stuff that we always talk about and are just continually getting worse, i.e. things like the economy, healthcare, pretty much all the same stuff that it's been forever. And then we're also fighting this battle of what it means to have humanity at the exact same time. And I think that's why it's exhausting, because it's yes, both of the arguments have to do with each other, but because of the way Republicans specifically view it, it feels like it's two separate battles in my brain, which is making it exhausting. Been calling her out for weeks. She refuses, so I stopped tiptoeing. That's fair. It's fair. What's everyone got going on today? What's today look like for people? You can tell that people are not used to seeing everyone so quiet in the morning. I mean, to be fair, I'm quiet too. I woke up with a headache that it's still going away. Still in the process of slowly disappearing. Contemplating going back to bed. That's fair. Morning, Kia. How are you doing today? I'm having a hard time seeing it as two battles. I'm looking at all of history. It's not, but the way it's being fought is making it feel that way. Because you've got certain people that are completely ignoring one problem and only focusing. You've got two different groups of people that are fighting, that are arguing about the two separate problems, not at the same time. They don't see a connection. That's probably the problem in the end. I don't have a hard time seeing it as two battles, but it feels like I'm fighting two battles. Because the people I'm fighting, I'm arguing with, are not, are trying to separate the two. I have to buy my kid a video game at 10 a.m. and start the download. Oh. Only have PT today since my OT care got cut in half. Got to pick up groceries and get to the pet store. Okay. Work, tooth pulling at 3, then work some more. Oh, fun. Hey, Carla, good morning. Is that the incident wasn't caught on camera? Hi, Linda. I don't know if I said it. Watch your interview with Corey before the live. He knows what Philly needs. Thank you, Linda. Oh, his story should absolutely be spoken about. I'm gonna be honest. I'm exhausted. I'm just absolutely exhausted with all of it. Silver, I 100% feel you. That's why I don't blame anybody who feels the need to take a break from being here, from interacting with this content. Sometimes we just need a break. Morning, Liz. Had to cut ties with two of my family members because of the things they said indirectly about my boyfriend who is Puerto Rican. Oh, I'm sorry. One of my classmates told our professor the other day, how am I supposed to write a 5-page paper and ignore what's going on? Yup. 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 That is extremely difficult. It's interesting. We've got there's a reason why the statement ignorance is bliss exists in the first, existed in the first place. It's amazing how nice it must be to be ignorant. Well, the degree comes down to the system refusing to give knowledge. People of color, I'm big mad. She refused to talk about the man lynched in ICE detention too. She only talks about white people. Yeah. One of my friend groups that had the closest people to me has completely fractured apart. People who are supposed to be community. Yep. It's unfortunately the more we go through all of this, the more I realize how much work it's going to be to get out of it. My son and his friends are planning a walkout for Thursday. Yesterday, they were called in the principal's office and told they'd be suspended. They shrugged and said, cool, we'll protest when suspended. I showed one of the family members I cut ties with, some lyrics about Kid Rock talking about underage girls. Her remark was, he's a Republican and she didn't watch the show. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It'd be wild, that's for sure. Kids being told they can't take the bus if they protest. That's crazy. Meeting time? Okay, Ash. Yeah. Texas is really is really doing a good job sticking their foot in their mouth, huh? What's new? Really? They looked at the bus rules and found that the school couldn't stop them from taking the bus. I love that they didn't take the teacher and principal's word for it. Yep. Again, they're just trying to use fear, right? What's up, Jose? How you doing, buddy? Texas is saying, hold my beer to Oklahoma, trying to beat them to the worst state. Yeah. I think we have many states vying for that trophy. True. The worst part about it is the argument was with my mother. Yeah. This whole identity politics thing has gotten out of control. This whole identity politics thing has gotten out of control. And that's Republican, Democrat, leftist, MAGA, all of it. People have this need to identify with something so much that they're unwilling to even listen or contemplate something else. And it's absolutely wild. You've been making under the table sly remarks for a while, but this was the nail in the coffin, especially since I've been with him for 8 years. Yeah. My uncle had posted a pic of my pops and I on Facebook, so I looked it up, commented, and then started scrolling. Now I see why I don't use it much. Yep. There's a reason that I've got just a random account that's not connected with anything. And the only purpose is so I can have the Instagram for posting. But I'll be happy the day that I can get rid of Instagram too. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. I mean, hate is not even a good enough. Description. My mom is supposedly a Democrat. That's another reason I don't fully understand. Yep. Yeah. Not wrong. Unfortunately, my state is trying with wanting to not educate disabled kids. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. My brain can't even process it, if I'm being honest. I don't know how anyone can be like that, you know? I mean, I do know how someone can be like that, but I also don't. My mom's new family is all MAGA. My dad's family is mostly that way, and it's rough. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of us that were ignorant for far too long, Liz. There's a lot of us that were ignorant for far too long. The key is that you realized it and you're trying to do the work now. So happy I only have one interview today because I have got so many videos to catch up on editing. Ugh, so many. It is nuts, isn't it, Rosa, that you have to know tricks like that? Today just feels so heavy, it's hard to explain. You know, it's not, though. Well, I can't speak for other people. For me, I feel the heaviness, but I feel like every day or every other day, like every week, something happens that makes us realize how racist, how many people lack humanity in this country. I mean, look how many people are complaining, not just complaining, going ape shit crazy about the fact that the halftime show was mostly in Spanish. It's just another like slap in the face as to what this world is really like. And again, I know there are probably a lot of people here that are like, we knew it was like this. Well, some of us didn't. And even though I did, it's still hard to see another example of it in my face. Are these reps making up stuff about their constituents and no one holding them accountable? Well, hopefully people are going to start doing that. He's now more aware than ever. I bopped around yesterday listening to Bunny, made me feel happy. Good. It should. And again, no one's expecting opera singers to not sing in Latin or Italian, right? It's not like this isn't normal. Sometimes letting yourself feel it, like truly just sitting with how you feel in those distractions, can be a rewarding thing. Yep. It's important, in fact. Some people's nervous systems are just finding out, and some have known. Both are not good and need time to adjust. Yep. My family, little by little, are realizing that they're voted for the wrong person. Even though I told them this was going to happen multiple times, they didn't care. Yep. Yep. It's just wild. It's just wild. All bunched into one messy, chaotic ball of fire. I'm really tired of English as the official language BS. We don't have an official language. Yep. Hence my little song yesterday. Maybe mixed with some EDM music or some Latin music. Hey, Outer. I think what hurts the most in my case, because it was two family members, my sister blatantly said we shouldn't have to learn Spanish to watch the halftime show, then proceeds to tell me she failed Spanish 3 times, even though my boyfriend had to learn English as his second language. Like every other country on the planet learns a lot of, like, not every other, a vast majority of countries learn multiple languages. Like, we are in general the worst when it comes to learning more than one language. No, you didn't have to learn to speak Spanish to watch. I enjoyed it immensely and didn't understand a word of it. Heck, most of Europe knows like 3 or 4 languages. At minimum, too. We're the only dumb ones that are unwilling to get past our one language. See the guys from Monty Python, the comedians, they speak English with different accents. They spoke German and French. Yep. Told me he met a 12-year-old boy that spoke 7 languages fluently. That's crazy. That's actually what should be done. Like kids, their brains can take multiple languages. We really should be forcing our kids to learn 2, 3 languages when they are young. Like really learn them. Oh, can't wait till this meds finish kicking in. This headache is a beast today. Still trying to process, I guess. My mom was attacking me all morning yesterday. I asked her if she wasn't racist. Why was she defending herself so hard? Then I ended the conversation. Yeah. There's this weird thing about people that there's a lot of people that are going to struggle thinking that they were actually better than they are. It's this idea that racism is done, right? I'm not racist. I have friends who are X, Y, and Z colored skin or from X, Y, and Z country. And when you confront them with the reality that they actually are still, if for no other reason than they grew up in a country that is still built on racism, they struggle with that. Your sinuses are ass today with a storm coming? Yeah. I went to an American school in my country. I learned traditions and the national anthem immersed into the language. I don't translate to English. It just comes out naturally, like my first language. Yep. Kitties are here. I know a person I know bantered with me in support of ICE. She said that we need to agree to disagree. No. There are certain things that agree to disagree do not, it does not exist. They think that that one word is the only, yeah. Yeah, they don't. But again, it's something we weren't taught, right? This is something new that we need to work through. Hello, Kia. I mean, are there certain things in the world that we can agree to disagree on? Sure. But not, humanity. Humanity is not one of those things. I would argue agree to disagree is someone saying this conversation is uncomfortable and it's making me uncomfortable and I want it to stop. But sure, some of the can't logically defend my stance could be part of it too. Hey, Lori. Just seen something funny on FB. We used to be a proper country where regardless of your political beliefs, we could at least agree that Kid Rock sucks. Yep. That's true. That's true. We should be able to agree on that one. It's crazy that we can't. Yeah, I mean, pineapple on pizza obviously is really bad. Best ever. Yep. Best ever. I have a legitimate question if you will take the time to hear me out. Yeah, you're welcome to type the question in chat. Who's Bad Bunny? A musical artist. The most famous music artist in the world right now. Best ever. Yep. Best ever. Yep. And that's fine. If his style of music isn't your style of music, it's understandable that you wouldn't have heard of him. Why did people support Jay-Z and help break records to fund his halftime? First off, it's not his halftime show. It's the NFL's halftime show. The NFL picked Bad Bunny. I know there's a lot of people that are saying that he did. He didn't. The NFL did. Hi, Clara. This country is a multicultural country. Yep. No, Jay-Z is not the one in charge of the halftime show. He does not pick the talent, and he does not make the profit. The NFL does. The NFL has talked about it. Isn't that well known here? Where's here? The United States? Bad Bunny is very well known in the United States. Oh, England. Nope. He does not pick them. The NFL does. Again, the NFL has talked about this. The NFL has talked about how they pick the halftime show. Jay-Z does not pick the halftime show. His company is in the room. Google Jay-Z. You're believing Google over the NFL? The NFL, the actual National Football League says that Jay-Z does not alone pick it. Oh my gosh. NFL is trying to expand their audience. Yep. Which is their right to do. As they should. That's why they're expanding the number of football games that are happening outside of this country. That's what I said, DDC. You heard the lyrics were very inappropriate. They weren't. Hey, Fiery Rose. No proof. Yeah, there is. I've seen the video where Commissioner Goodell talked about it. Hey, Alejandra. You won't because there's facts on there? Okay. Goodbye. The halftime sucked. They should have had Bruno Mars. Okay. Best halftime performance. The worst was the TPUSA one. You're allowed to think that. I would argue that this is the most American halftime show we've ever had. Shawnee. Hey, Laura. There was no vulgarity. No, but I knew people that understood it. We are one America. That's just a reality. The United States is having trouble being a part of that, or thinking that, understanding they're a part of that. How are we America? North America, South America, Central America, we're all America. We're all part of the Americas. Most boring Super Bowl ever? No argument there, V. Gulf of America? Gulf of Mexico, though. But and you're allowed to believe it wasn't the best. I believe it was. I believe it was the most American halftime show we've ever had. Good morning, Gigi. There's a lot of music that I like that I don't understand all of it. Who says I have to understand all of it? You can't enjoy music without knowing all the words that they're singing? I enjoy a lot of music that I don't know the words of. Tons. Every opera I've ever listened to, don't understand the words. Still enjoyed it. I don't, but I know other people that do. I don't need to understand the words to enjoy the music. Not to mention, there were plenty of things out there that were in English that were great. It was not despicable. That's a dumb statement. You don't even know what he said. Best ever is pretty hyperbolic. How is me saying that it was the best ever hyperbolic? Again, why do I need to understand the words to think it's the best ever? It was the most American halftime show ever. Because America is more than just the United States. It wasn't vulgar in any way, shape, or form. Oh, I'm the problem, huh? Yeah, Homer, Dale, your comment is pathetic. being not bad and being best ever is way different. You're right. Those two statements are different. But I'm not saying not bad. I'm saying the best ever. Your mods suck and make you lose views. Goodbye. Halftime show was the best ever. In another language? There is no language. The NFL doesn't have an official language either. You seem like such an unpleasant person to be around. Okay. My friends would disagree with you. There was not an emotional connection. Absolutely was an emotional connection. I felt very connected. Do I speak Spanish? Nope. No, I don't. Not a lick of it. And amazingly enough, I still enjoyed it. Every damn moment of it. Nope, there is no official language of the United States of America. Are you seriously alleging musically it's better than Prince or Jackson? No. I'm saying I think that the halftime show as a whole was the best show ever, though. Nope, first language is not English. There is no official language. There can't be a first language. Because it generates conservative outrage? No, it's the best because it's the most American halftime show that we've ever had. I think this entire show was better than the Michael Jackson ones. Yep. Than Michael Jackson. Yep. I do. Michael Jackson and Prince would have been dancing with them. Did not watch, nor did millions of other Americans. 140 million Americans watched it. 140 million Americans. It was the most watched halftime show of all time. Because there was a football game on. Yeah, I guarantee more people watched the Super Bowl because of Bad Bunny than watched the Super Bowl because they wanted to watch the Super Bowl. Guaranteed. I have to stop hating myself? I don't hate myself. Bias is definitely showing. Of course I'm biased. So are you, chosen one. So are all of us. We're all biased. Never said I wasn't. I'm biased towards things that I like based on my experience. Do I know his lyrics? Nope. The show was great. No matter affiliation. Thanks, Beebinator. Beebinator. Thank you. TMZ poll disagrees? Oh, well, if the TMZ polls disagrees, whoo, whoo, man, there you go. TMZ. Oh, gosh. He was showing a lot of struggles and experiences that came from our island. Yep. It was wonderful. Removing politics from your answer. It was the most American halftime show ever. God, must be exhausting to be so angry all the time, guys. Man. Think the halftime shows are better than the actual game. That's definitely unacceptable. No one's angry. I disagree. I think there's a lot of angry people. People that can't handle the fact that the guy sang in Spanish literally weren't able to enjoy music because you couldn't understand the words that he was saying. Of course they are angry. This is engagement farming. This isn't engagement farming. This is my opinion. What's my opinion? That the Bad Bunny halftime show was the best halftime show ever. No, they weren't, Mario. No, they actually weren't. Green Day was good too. Hey, Tiffany. I've been watching the Super Bowl for 40 years. Music is an international language. Just feel the rhythm and dance. Yep. Politics are making me think that this was great. First off, life is politics. Second, no. Politics is not what made me think this is great. I absolutely saw MJ and Prince. I've watched every Super Bowl since 85? 86? 85. I'm a music person. It's what I love most about the Super Bowl is the music. No, his song was not about that. Waffle, fries, and me. How old am I? 47. I enjoy the halftime shows because I like music. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the football many, many times as well. But I've always been a music person. Played 5 different instruments over my life, sung in tons of choirs, part of a barbershop quartet, worship teams. I love music. But you like that song? Do you know what it's about? What was his song about? So I watched the Super Bowl at 5 years old and understood. Understood what? That I liked music? Yeah. Yeah. I watched the Super Bowl at 5 years old and understood that I liked the music. That I liked music. You ask my family, I'm sitting here, I pretty much sing nonstop. Hey, Ambrosia. The powers that be made football and the halftime show political. The halftime show, everything is political. Oh, you're good, Kelly. The whole world, every experience that you have is political. It's impossible for things not to be political. It's not a stretch. Literally every experience that you have had in your entire life, politics had some involvement in it. We're not politicizing back. It's just what is. Hey, Graham. No, it's not it has nothing to do with making politics an identity. I think too many people identify with like political parties. I think identity politics is a bit too strong. But life is politics. Yeah. Someone's ability to be non-political is political. I'm not allowed to believe that it's the best ever? Just because someone disagrees with me that I think it's the best ever means I'm grifting or I'm capitalizing or whatever? Come on, guys. That's your opinion. Mine is that it was the best ever. Why am I saying that? Because I think it was the most American halftime show ever. It was the most all-encompassing American halftime show ever. Does anyone know when Massey might be giving names? I don't, Ambrosia. Great performance, great message. Freaking someone got married there. Come on. Beyonce was the best. You're allowed to. Virtue signaling? What virtue? What do you think I'm trying to signal? I'm not allowed to have an opinion? Jeez, people. Gaga in 2017 was good. Again, there's a lot of good halftime shows. Not arguing that there weren't that the other ones just sucked. Correct. Accepting that this one was good doesn't equal believing the others sucked. Yep. Thank you, Kelly. Okay. Okay, Alejandro. You're allowed to think that. Now, I would argue if the reason that you thought it sucked because it wasn't in English, that makes you a bad person. I'm just going to say it straight up, and I don't care if that loses me viewers. English is not the official language. There is no official language in the United States or in the NFL. No, it's not. There is no official language. Nope. An executive order's not a law. An executive order's not a law. So get the hell out of here, because you don't know what you're talking about. An executive order's not a law. Thank you. Thank you. I was trying to go the, I didn't understand it while it was going on, but I loved it. There were parts that I understood, especially that big sign that said there's nothing more powerful than love. There is nothing more powerful against hate than love. And when he said, God bless America. A man talking about the halftime show and not the game is gay. Oh my gosh. Y'all are so in your feelings. The poor performance was great. If you like that kind of music. Hey, Miley. Oh gosh, you did not need to speak Spanish to understand that he was talking about his culture at all. Hello. Surprised they even Liz. It's true. America is not just the US. Correct. America is all of the countries in the Americas. We are the United States of America. How are things in New York City? What was my favorite part? Honestly, my favorite part was the wedding. That was just awesome. That was just so cool that someone actually got married during it. That was just unbelievable. Yes, that they invited Bad Bunny to the wedding, and instead he invited them to have their wedding at the halftime show. Unless there's more to it, but that was the story I heard. Your team won. Congratulations. Do I think the unity we have seen so far can last as long as we're willing to work on it? It's going to take work. It always takes work. Thank you. You too. I read somewhere he signed as their witness. Not sure how accurate that is, but still special. That is awesome. Can you imagine having something signed that said that Bad Bunny was your witness for your wedding? That would be so cool. Yes, Carla. I always try and give free lessons when I can. The part on the power pole was awesome because it represents the present issue in the island. Yep. And you know what, Scott? That's okay. You are more than allowed to not think it was the best ever, just like anyone is. Unless the reason you hate it is just because it was in Spanish, then I've got an issue with that, but this is why you never skip breakfast. Bunch of hangry people on TikTok. Yeah. Yeah, Prince was good too. I enjoyed when Aerosmith was on. There's been a lot of good halftime shows. If you like music. Morning. How can you not move to those beats? Correct. We just got to settle in with a game of dominoes. There you go. First off, Lorena, I'm not a Democrat. Second, I absolutely did love the show. I loved Lady Gaga's performance. I loved that they turned her song into a Latina song. It was great. Put some Latin beat to that song. It was beautiful. There was a football game. As much as a Patriots fan, I wanted to forget it. There was a football game. Yeah, Ricky Martin. Yeah, I'm a Pats fan. It's okay. The way I always put it is I didn't expect us to make it back for another 20 years. So it was nice to see them. It was nice to see them in before then. Yeah. Hey, the Seahawks won fair and square. Baffles me how people believe that lyrics is the most important thing in music. Considering how many songs we all probably used to love when we were growing up and had no idea what the lyrics were about at all. Community people can come up if they want. Or quarterback for the Patriots. Hey, you know, hopefully he will learn and grow from it. Hopefully he will learn and grow from it. Hello.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I will say this. You can definitely tell the difference between the pre-Rock Nation Super Bowls that have happened in the pre and the post.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a big swing on the kind of performers since Rock Nation has taken over. I mean, J-Lo, Shakira, The Weeknd, Dr. Dre, Snoop, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick, Rihanna, Usher.
Mm-hmm.
All of those, you can definitely tell the difference. And that's one of the cool things about it. And I was really happy that they did bring on Rock Nation and Jay-Z. I don't like the downplaying of the part that they play in picking the acts, because they were brought on specifically for that reason, to help make the acts a little more all engaging and all encompassing. So I don't like it when they downplay that, because that is what they're there for. They are part of the decision making process.
Sure.
Of it's not just the background, it's not just setting up the stage. That's not what the Jay-Z and Rock Nation part is. They do play a big part in who is chosen, how it's chosen, and all of that. And I love that. I love to see the difference. And I think the thing that's so frustrating is when it comes to opinions, which saying the Super Bowl was the best ever is an opinion, everybody's got one, and you don't have to agree with Mike's. And I totally agree with you, Mike. If the only reason you say you didn't like it was because it was in Spanish or you have some kind of issue with that, then you're letting your bigotry show.
Mm-hmm. Again, if his style of music is not your style, that's fine. There's music that I don't enjoy listening to. There's music out there. I don't like country. And I'm sorry if that means some of you have to leave. That's just not, I've tried. I don't enjoy listening to it. It's not something that speaks to me. And that's fine.
Same.
If there was a halftime show that was all country, I'd probably be like, eh. I'd still listen to it because it's music, but I'd be like, eh. So it's okay.
Yeah. And but you know what the thing about it would be that's different with us? If they played a country music artist, we just would change it. We just wouldn't watch, but we wouldn't be on social media the next day bitching, whining, and moaning, and groaning, and complaining about it. We would just say whether we watched it or didn't, liked it or didn't, but it wouldn't be this shit show that's out there right now.
I love Maroon 5, but their halftime show was meh. And again, it's not a bad thing if it wasn't your favorite. It's not even a bad thing as a whole if you didn't really enjoy it. There have been plenty of halftime shows that I've watched that I didn't enjoy. But if again, it's still the statement still comes as to why. Why didn't you enjoy it? If the reason you didn't enjoy it was because it was in Spanish, that's different than the reason you didn't enjoy it was that's just not my kind of music.
Yeah, and that's I think for me that's the big thing. There's so many things cuz like what I said earlier on the tube, and in case you guys didn't know, we're also streaming there as well. Um was when I went on the Book of Faces and I was seeing people like, well, I just didn't watch it cuz I don't like that kind of music, and I like the kind of music that Turning Point, and that doesn't, and I'm like, but when have they put on a counter concert to the halftime show?
Correct.
When have they done that? They
Correct.
haven't done that. And then for you to sit there and say in the same post, to sit there and say that you felt that what happened was disgusting, or his lyrics are disgusting, and then turn around and watch Kid Rock and his lyrics have been plastered everywhere talking about underage minors. How you justify that is just as gross as well.
So Mephi, we are the United States of America. America is the continent. So one America is all the Americas. So not under the American flag. America continent, not country. We are the United States. That is what we technically are. We call ourselves the United States of America, but of America, which is country. But if one has to be, no, we do not need to be united under one flag. 100% do not need to be united under one flag. I consider Tiffany, who is in Canada, us to be Americans. Americas, part of the Americas. We are united as part of the Americas as humanity. We aren't under the same flag.
We are North Americans. Good morning. And yeah,
Hi.
Kia, I was on Facebook yesterday. I don't know if we're friends on Facebook. If we're not, same name. Yeah, I put a post on there that I basically said to anybody, like I said, I'm unfriending anybody who is sitting there promoting the Toilet Paper USA concert. And anybody who's whining about the Bad Bunny concert because it was not in English. And people had big feelings about me saying that. I had 2 men try to tell me that I was wrong for making that decision, that I should build bridges. I'm like, I don't build bridges with racists. They can stay on their side, and I'm happy to burn that sucker down. Like, no, I don't. No, I'm just done with people. I'm like, I don't want people who are hate-filled, hate-sharing people in my audience. Not now, not ever. You're not welcome here. Get out. Bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you. Actually, let the door hit you on the way out. Bye. I'm not doing it.
Randar, you're right. Mexico is also under North America, correct? And
yes, it is. We can't forget
them. What are we under? Humanity. So not values, not if you're talking of value, the value is humanity, not norms, not laws, humanity. That is what we are united under. We don't need to be united under anything else.
And no, Summer, no cultures are better than others, period. Just period. No context, period.
So we should expect everyone to act accordingly and kindly. Expect?
I need more context. What do they mean by that?
We're just talking about a reality. We are all Americans. We are all a part of the Americas. That's just a reality. It doesn't need to go farther than that, technically. That's just a reality.
And if you needed to break it down, then there is North, there is Central, and there is South America. But all of us combined are the Americas, which is what he was celebrating. And it was wonderful.
I just think some people always think he was. Yes, he was. Hence, at the end, when he named all the countries in the Americas.
Did they miss all the flags? Like, there was literally, like, every Canadian, our little hearts all like started singing as we saw our flag.
Like, that's literally what that's practically what his entire show was about.
Love, acceptance, respect.
And Steamy, I would say if you prefer the Kid Rock concert over them, that makes you a racist. Again, if you sit there and what makes you a racist when you sit there and you bitch about not being able to understand it because you don't understand the language. It's also racist sitting there talking about, the fact that it was a Puerto Rican that did the show. The fact that if you're okay with listening to somebody whose lyrics actively talk about engaging in things with minors, then you're right. Go right ahead. Go ahead and bump your Kid Rock and listen to your Kid Rock. It says a lot more about you than you're racist.
Oh, you think that we as American, all being Americans, cannot point out racism when we see it, Mephi? You seem to be under this idea that again, two things can't be true. If you like a style of music more, that's one thing. But if the reason you are going and watching Kid Rock is because you think somehow he is because you think that Bad Bunny's music is too sexual, you haven't paid attention to Kid Rock's music. If you because you think Kid Rock is a Christian, which under TPUSA, obviously that was what they think. You've obviously never listened to Kid Rock's music. If it's because you don't like the fact that Bad Bunny sings in Spanish, she never said that qualifier. She did say that qualifier. She was talking to somebody. No, she did not say if you prefer Kid Rock Oh my gosh.
Hang on. I don't need you to argue. I
I'm
don't
not,
need you to,
I'm,
yeah, like argue for me. And Mephi or whatever, you obviously didn't listen. And if you didn't understand what I said, then I'm sorry. That's not my problem. But I did not say that. And if you don't like it, you don't have to be here. Like legit. Like if you prefer music that they actively engage in talking about stuff with minors, then that's fine. That's not the part that makes you racist. It's the other things that you say and do around that that makes you racist. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like what I said. You don't have to agree with what I said. That's fine. I mean, but come on. When you sitting here talking about it like when you literally sit here defending somebody who in their music they're talking about underage minors, when you're defending that, there's a whole lot more, like I said to you, than being racist. That's just a small bit of the problem.
All of that.
there are Puerto Ricans in this chat that know what Bad Bunny said. Nobody cares. A lot of people seem to care. No, I didn't know what he said. Didn't need to know what he said to enjoy it.
These people today, seriously, some of them are just they're really in their feelings about this. Like so many big feelings, and they just don't know what to do about it. Might I suggest, going to one of those places where you can throw plates against the wall, get out the anger?
Yes, I can say it was the best halftime show ever without knowing what he said. Although, again, I've talked to people and I've watched videos that talked about what he said before I made this statement.
I appreciate everybody's passion and stuff in chat, but please leave caps for mods only. Thank you. The fact that you that's part of the problem. I mean, you want things spelt out in small little nice packages that are easy for you to digest. You don't want to have to use your critical thinking skills or put your thinking caps on and read beyond just what you see. That's a problem. That's a huge problem in this country.
And you're right, Lacey, we have never been one people or one language.
Exactly. Even when the people that were here had multiple languages. And then even those when the colonizers started coming, they had multiple languages. And that's the thing that just pisses me off. The bigotry and racism is just so fucking gross.
Mm-hmm.
Even English music, there's songs of people who were born here in the United States. You can't understand all the words.
It's not that we are uncultured. Our culture is that of a mixed culture. People from other countries bring their cultures in and form something else. It's just our culture is literally made up from the basis of a lot of other cultures. That's not a bad thing. Just don't pretend that it's something like that we are one specific thing.
Exactly.
It's what makes it's funny enough, it's the big difference between Canada and America is that exact point. America is a melting pot. People come there, bring their cultures, and create something new. Canada is a multicultural country, so people come here, They bring their culture, they keep their culture, they share their culture with all of us, and we enjoy it. Neither one of those is right or wrong. It's just different. It's, I think, what makes our countries great, but also different. This whole thing about it has to be in English just baffles my mind. Music is about how it makes you feel, not about understanding the words that are spoken. Might I bring everybody's attention to that scene in Pretty Woman where he takes her to the opera? It's a pretty good, relevant example to the same thing. She cannot understand a word of what that they're singing in Italian opera, but she can feel every single note. You don't have to understand all the words. What did the music make you feel? And if it made you feel rage because you couldn't understand the words, you might be an R word. Just throwing it out there. Like,
Thanks, Patty.
Patty's so great.
Yes, she is.
And that's the thing, like the fact that they sit there and they whine, complain, and cry. The Dems are trying to tear apart this country. Their message is all divisive, and hateful. And I mean, so I said the words that they say. Don't pay attention to them. Pay attention to what they're doing, how they're acting. That's what you pay attention to. Like I finally got to hear. I kept seeing people were saying that Megyn Kelly like lost her shit over the whole thing, and I
She
finally got
did.
to. I finally got to hear her. She's so fucking disgusting.
Yes,
And
she is.
oh my god, to hear what she was saying. And I was just was it Tucker that she was talking to that was like, well, you
No,
don't
it was
Years.
Pierce Morgan.
Pierce. Okay, Pierce. There you go. When he was like, but you go to the opera, he brought up that, and he brought up other instances with people that don't speak in English, and people don't have a problem with that. Just like people kept talking about, well, it's in the United States. Does Taylor Swift go to Japan and sing in Japanese? Does she go to other countries? Does she go to Spain and sing in Spanish and Italy? No, she sings in fucking English. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? Do you not listen to yourself or not read what you type before you hit that send button? Jesus.
No, they don't. Because they believe that they think that they have the right and ability. Well, they do have the ability technically, but they have the right to say whatever they want with no consequences.
And what I also found funny as she was on her R word rant, she was listing off all these things that were American, apple pie, football, and meatloaf. And I was like, apple pie came from England, meatloaf, Germany, football invented in Canada. I'm like, she said fried chicken. I'm like, well, that was a union of two other people in America that created that. This if you look at the history of the food, I'm like, literally everything you just talked about was culturally appropriated from someone else.
Yes, there is
It's not American.
There is
came from
very
somewhere
little
else. Like,
food that is straight up only American. Again, at minimum, it was invented using styles or ingredients that came from other cultures. At minimum.
At minimum. Well, yeah, and I was actually looking at the history of all the foods because I was curious, because I'm like, I don't think any of those are actually quintessentially American. I'm like, I know football isn't. Neither is basketball. Neither is hockey. I'm like, all of those are Canadian things. But I was like, I just, it was.
Hot chocolate.
No, it's coffee, and I'm on a live. Thank you, Chase. Sorry, that was my son. Like, no, it's chai tea. But anyways, I was like, seriously, like, I'm like, we all know the history of fried chicken and how it started. It came over with Scottish people, and then it was people, black people who created fried chicken because, Scottish people don't spice anything. If they're lucky, salt and pepper, but no, I love all my Scottish people, but I'm joking, but we know that it was invented in, I think it was the late 1700s, early 1800s. Like, I genuinely don't understand how you go on a racist rant and then talk about everything you culturally appropriate and call it American. Like, seriously?
I feel the need to say this again because I'm seeing this happen. We don't bring people up that haven't been part of the community for a bit. We don't bring up people we don't know. It's nothing against you. It's a rule of the channel. So if you are new to the channel and you want to come up, you need to stick around for a bit. You need to be a part of it and the chat, and then we'd be happy to consider bringing you up later. So I promise it is nothing against any person in particular when we do it.
I was just literally getting ready to say that.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, fried chicken, it was like, I'm like, I was getting so angry listening to her. Sorry, Kia. Megan Kelly just made me so angry. I was like, you cannot go on an R word rant sitting here talking about English this and American that, and then literally talk about stuff that you taken from literally all of the cultures around the world, whether it be West Africa and Scotland as the starter for fried chicken, and obviously then yes was transformed into what we now know as fried chicken in America. And like, whether we're talking meatloaf, whether we're talking apple pie, whether we're talking football, whether we're talking, like, I'm like, it's just like Canada. There's not a whole ton of things that, because we are a younger country and because we were colonialized countries and imperialistically done in horrific ways, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of quintessential our own things because that's just how it works.
Yep. Especially not anymore.
Yeah.
Most foods that we eat are a mixture of other traditions, other styles, other areas, other everything. That's welcome to a global society.
The other thing too is, I mean, Santa Clara, hello, the place where the Super Bowl is. We got Pueblo. We have it just literally, this is where I kind of want to do like GT, where he takes his microphone and bangs it on his up against his microphone. That's what it makes me do. All these stupid comments and all the bigotry and racism and the microaggressions, just all of it just makes me want to freaking scream.
Can we just force everyone to watch Schoolhouse Rock? I already did a Schoolhouse Rock song today, so.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you, Kia. I was just like, there was a point, I'm like, if I could hit my phone right now for all the people saying stupid shit, I'm like, but I don't want to break my new phone. I haven't had it long enough to do that yet, but like, I can't understand how or why. Like, I get that it all stems back to the current administration and their I'm trying to think of the words I want to use here. They're them normalizing behaving in such heinous, hateful, bigotry, xenophobic ways.
Grow up, Jason. Child.
Yep, white supremacy BS, and they've exported it everywhere now, like everywhere. Like Maple MAGA. There's MAGA in the UK, because funny enough, all my posts on Facebook yesterday, it was a bunch of British MAGA that came and started trolling all my stuff, and I'm like. When did you guys feel comfortable enough in society to say this stuff? And how do we make you so super uncomfortable again that you choose to never say this stuff again? I would love to say we could get rid of it, but I think step one is to get them to feel so freaking shamed and uncomfortable that they don't say these things out loud. And then we can worry about how to ensure that we eradicate that type of thought process and behavior from society forever.
And Dwight, the problem is this idea of exceptionalism that people in this country have been taught, that the world literally revolves around us, and everything that is good is because we are good, which means everyone should follow us. So
Frodo, it's funny you asked that because I was just watching a documentary the other day. It was on Netflix. It was about a secret experiment done in the U.S. regarding the mustache men's, his guards, and the U.S. government decided to import a bunch of them to try to elicit information to help them with the war. And after the war was over, they allowed all of them to stay as engineers within America. So you guys imported your own German.
well,
Yeah.
and how did they deal with it there? They made it illegal. They taught kids from the beginning about it and why it was bad and why we need to avoid it. And let's be fair, even with all that, they're still back.
Never went away.
They're still there.
And Dwight, in response to you, we know that America is a continent. There's actually 2 America continents, and then there's Central America. Those are the Americas. That's what we mean, one America. We do understand that America is a continent and not a country. That was your first your in response to both of your comments. We do know that it's a continent and it's not a country.
But unfortunately, it distracts us. It's not unfortunate. It's just as needed. All of this is needed. We need to remember what we're fighting for.
And where we came from.
The most important thing, that we can do as people is in this fight is remember what we're fighting for. If we lose what we're fighting for, then we're never actually going to get out of it. It's just going to be something else. Because trust us, we know all of the horrors that are going on, and we talk about them constantly.
And Emerald, no, there's 2 American continents. North America, South America. They're 2 different continents. Yes, they're all kind of connected, but they're considered 2 different continents.
What would be allowed here because of free speech? Sorry, I don't understand Frodo's question. I need more context.
I mean, would doing that be allowed here? You can make a law about anything. Not everything is covered under free speech already. You can make a law that certain things aren't allowed to be talked about.
Canada has freedom of expression laws, so there are things that are not protected as freedom of expression, and things that are considered hate crimes are not protected under our freedom of expression legislation, because that would make sense. If it's a crime, you can't use it as a defense.
So Kia, just so you know, on the one continent thing, Jose in our Discord talked about it, and he said, in Hispanic countries, they teach us that America is only one continent. North, Central, and South America are all part of one continent, America. In the US, English-speaking countries and some other parts of Asia use the 7-continent model, which divides the continents by tectonic plates, while other places like Latin America, they teach the 6-continent model, which makes America one big continent.
Ooh, interesting.
What are you reading from? I'm like looking, I'm like, what?
It's in politics. Jose talked about it.
Oh. I'm not in there. Sorry. So then who gets to decide how many continents there really are then? Because I mean, that's like
humans get to decide.
That's really kind of jacked up when they're considered two in some places and not in others. Like, do they not consider Asia and Europe separate, even though they're all one contiguous landmass?
Like I just said, they are taught that North and South America are all one continent and everything else is separate. So they have six, in the way they are taught is there are 6 continents.
That's what I'm asking. So, like, and I'm asking specifically about Europe and Asia because of the fact that they're one contiguous continent. Are they still taught there as well, Jose? That that is one continent, being that they're all one contiguous piece as well?
Nope,
No.
they're separate. Just the Americas are all considered one. It's interesting. I actually, yeah, I find that fascinating. But yeah, it's the thing with education. Who decides? Basically, whatever your school system in your town, province, city, country decides is basically what you get to learn. And then on top of it, it depends on what they decide to use for textbooks and who gets to edit those and what gets put in there. Because I guarantee history that we get taught is very different than it is in other parts of the world. And well, look, even just Canada and America, the things that we get taught, how much is the same versus different? Just that division alone is unique. I don't even know if the education system that we get taught in Alberta is even the same as it is in Ontario, for that matter. Which is sad.
I guess my brain is just really struggling with that concept because they're all one. I'm struggling with that in my brain. The fact that our continent is considered one because they're not separated, but then Asia and Europe are not considered two, even though they're one too. That's my brain is really struggling to process that. Like, if the reasoning is because it's all one part, then why is Asia and Europe not considered one continent as well? I'm just I'm really confused.
You'd probably need to ask some professors there. I'm sure there's a reason, but
Oh, I'm certain there's a reason.
And even with the book Silver, the textbooks, it can be the same exact textbook from the same publishing company, but depending on what states, and that came from somebody who worked from a textbook company, they said that it could be the same exact cover, the same exact publisher, same exact edition, but depending on what states it goes to, they have different things in there.
yes, yes, guys, we understand why we have all been taught what we're talking about. That's not an argument, and technically none of this is really an argument. The fact is in some countries in Latin America, some Latin American countries, they are taught that North and South America are just one whole country. You don't, regardless of whether we agree with that mentality, that is what they are taught, which is why when they come in and they say one country or one continent, that is why they're saying it, because that's what they've been taught.
And it's not, and please, for people who don't know me, it's not that I'm overthinking it, it's how my brain works and how it processes it. If you don't know me, please don't speak on that. Like, in my brain, that is really when somebody uses reasoning for one thing and it's not the same reasoning for something else, that confuses me. Just straight up, if that's the reason. Even what Mr. Wallace said on the other side, due to historical, cultural, and political differences, hello, like, how would United States not be considered separate from South America, especially because of how there's just so much. Now my brain is just like, okay. But now I'll understand why people who are from other Latino countries would say that there's 6. My brain is just not understanding why, if it's one for one and not for the other. I'm big on, if it's for one, then it should be for the other and not different.
If I were to guess, it would have something to do with the fact that since Central America is technically part of North America continent-wise, and they would be considered to be similar, obviously, for obvious reasons, both Latin areas, that allows them to do it. But again, I don't know. I don't know the exact reason. That's just the only thing that comes to my mind.
I feel you.
Do you think other countries are looking out for USA's best interest? I don't care.
It's not their job. It's not their job to look out for us first. Their job is to look out for them first. It's not that their job. What the
Yep.
hell?
Hey, Leah.
Why I'm curious, TikTok citizen, why do you think that other countries around the world should be responsible to look out for the US and its interests? Like,
Exactly,
I'm
but
curious
we
as a
are
Canadian.
America is a continent, not a country. Continent. We can still be all one America, but not be the same continent or the same country. That does not mean we have to. Now, do I think that we should? Yes. What does America mean? We are the United States of America. Of. The word of is part of it. Because we are the United States in a continent called America.
I think they're getting really confused because at some point USA dropped the US part and just started, I think, kind of calling themselves Americans.
You
And I think they
understand the
got
words that are coming out of my mouth?
yeah, exactly. I think they're getting confused because at some point USA just became Americans instead of and I'm like I think they're getting confused maybe. I'm giving them benefit of the doubt.
What does all one America mean? We are
Means
all
of the Americas.
Americas. We are all part of the Americas. Everyone
As a
over here.
Canadian.
That's why I would often say before we had this whole discussion, I've been saying it for a long ass time. Mexicans are American, Brazilians are Americans, Canadians are Americans. The people in the Caribbean are a lot of them are like Jesus Christ.
What does that mean? It means what it says. It doesn't always
means-
need to mean something more. There's this.
Please go look at a map.
You don't need to read into things. We are all one world too. We are. You're right. And you know what? I think that we would be a lot better as a world if we started remembering that and looking at the humanity of it.
I agree 100%. We should start looking more at the world and how we impact the world and how we can make the world a better place for all of us. I think that would be there would be the greatest start to civilization here in the world that I could ever think of, is if we could actually remember that. Be global citizens. That would be just fabulous. No notes.
But if
that
you
would
put
be
in-
amazing.
Okay, just because that's, you can't go by Google, because what Google and any search term does is look for when you do a search, it looks for overlaps. And the fact is we are the United States of America. So when you search for America, the United States is always going to come up. The fact is we as a society, especially USA society, have separated ourselves from the idea that we live in North America and have really focused on the fact that we somehow are this exceptionalism separate from everyone else thing. That's an on us thing. That does not mean it needs to stay that way. That does not mean that it's true. That's just what we have been taught for a long time. The reality is we all live in the Americas. That does make us all American. We as a society have the capability of changing the way we view things. I would argue we aren't the United States really anymore either. We're not very united on anything. I'd rather unite under humanity than under some flag. You're talking to me.
And I don't the indoctrination and the American exceptionalism has been showing its whole bright ass these last few days. Oh my gosh.
This last month.
Ever since he was announced, what, 4 months ago he was announced that he was going to be headlining the Super Bowl.
Something like that.
It's been a long time, and it just
Here, I can tell you because I made a video after it that's still accessible. Hold on. It got announced 9:30. So yeah, 4 months, little over 4 months ago.
yeah. I mean, it's just like
Here's the thing, Fab. Arguably, we have always been pretty divided. Right? We've always been pretty divided as a country. When Irish came over, they were othered. When Italians came over, they were othered. When any group of people came over, they were othered. We've always been doing that to people. That has been the world that we have been living in. Do I think that there is at least groups of people? Do I think especially the internet has helped create groups of people, large groups of people that view humanity differently, that have become more global in their view? Yes, I do. I think that's one of the reasons we're dealing with what we're dealing with is we've got whole groups of people that have grown up seeing the world on a phone. And by that very aspect, through this internet, we have the boundaries of a country have started disappearing. We just see a person. We don't care where they are. We see that someone is suffering. That matters. That has helped. And what you've got is groups of you've got older people that haven't grown up with the internet that have become uber focused on the idea of the border. And you've got younger people who have grown up with the internet and see less border. And those two realities are banging into each other right now. That doesn't mean there shouldn't be borders. Unless we decide to create a new society as a world, there are going to be borders. But that doesn't mean we need to act as though those borders are anything other than a way to decide what laws groups live under. Tiffany is still a human, even though she lives in Canada. Out of these people from other countries that are on here talking, you are humans. And you are just as important and just as valuable as anyone who lives in this country with me.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't know, most of the audience, I maybe have never even said this. My sister is American. My sister was born in Burbank, California. So I may be Canadian, born and raised. My sister was born in Burbank. We lived there actually for the first when I was 2 all the way to I was 5, I think, when we came back to Canada.
I found out that my grandfather was Canadian.
Where?
Nova
Where in
Scotia.
Canada? Oh, East Coast. That's awesome.
Which makes sense
Shout out-
because we all have lived on the East Coast since then. So
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Well, my grandmother is American. So like my mom has dual citizenship. Obviously my sister does. I'm the only one in my family who does not have dual citizenship because last time I looked into it, I could not get dual citizenship because it was my maternal grandmother, and the only way to get dual citizenship was through my paternal line. Don't ask me why that's a rule.
Oh, so wait a minute. My paternal grandfather is French Canadian. That's I'm like 26% French, 27% French. Being that it's from my grandfather, does that mean that I can get dual citizenship?
Oh, no. Canada's rules are completely different than America's. Like I was talking about, I couldn't get my dual citizenship as an American because the rules in America, at least at the time when I looked, it only followed the paternal line, not the maternal line. But in Canada, I would check. Yeah, I think because we changed our rules here, it is much easier for people to get their Canadian citizenship.
They actually just changed the rule about, what is it called? My family was just talking about it, in fact. Hold on. It is called Lost Canadians Bill.
Isn't that cute? Admit it, that name is kind of cute. The Lost Canadians Bill. We want to go collect all our Canadians from around the world. Right? It sounds cute.
But yeah, that's how my middle name is French.
Kia, you should look into it. I'm just telling you. I'm not telling you, but I am just telling you. You should look. I bet you. I'm just saying. Go call the Canadian consulate in your area and ask, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen?
But damn, why couldn't my those folks come up from the south though? Because I don't want to move to Canada. It's so cold and I don't want no more snow. Why couldn't it be from south of the border? Damn it.
There was my wife's side is Italian, and for a while at least Italy had a very similar kind of law for people whose like grandparents or great grandparents were Italian, to try and get people to come back and make an easy path. And we'd talked about that at some point too. And when I mentioned the Canada thing, she was like, I'd actually consider Canada more than Italy. At least they all speak English, and we wouldn't be like so far away from everyone else.
Je ne parle pas anglais.
Yeah, I grew up 20 minutes from the Canadian border. Like I could legit get to Canada in 20 minutes from my house growing up. So like I'm really familiar with the maple syrup and how delicious that all is.
House Homeland Secretary agency officials from DHS are testifying now. Oh, I bet that one's fun. If I wasn't getting off in 20 minutes, I'd say, well, I'm not sure I'd be able to handle for very long, but fortunately I'm getting off soon. I can't imagine how fun that's going to be. How you doing, Amy? Hello.
Carla made a good point on the other side. And you know, because I feel it, she said, I think this all hate because we can have a tan all year long. Sorry, I have to joke because I'm going to give myself brain damage with the amount of face palms. And it's so true. And it's so true. And you know what really gets me, Carla, is those same, especially YT women, that do a lot of tanning but talk about the brown people all the time. So what are you going to the tanning bed for? What's going on with that?
So
families born in the US, but just to think they embrace their Latino culture puts them in danger. Yeah. Yep. It's kind of crazy. It's just wild. It's wild.
Oh, it's but yeah, so Kia, I would look into it. It's called Bill C3, and yeah, definitely look into it because I from what I remember, I think you do qualify. Even though your parents were born outside of Canada, I think maybe even your parents qualify. Yeah. I love Carla. Yeah, you were once lost and now you've been found by Canada. I always just thought the title of that bill was super cute. The Lost Canadian Bill. We just wanted to go claim all our Canadians from all over the world. Everybody was allowed to come. Well, and you know what, when I think about it, I think like that's the sentiment I want us to have as a global sentiment, that we all belong. Like we are all worthy of belonging as a whole unity, as all of us as human beings on this planet, and that we should take care of each other and love each other just as that.
Yeah. It's so funny. JNC is talking about it's weird because then they turn around and celebrate being Irish American and Italian American. I don't think people realize what Americans used to say about the Italians, especially because a lot of Italians are olive skinned. They were bashed in every way, shape, or form because they looked too in the people's minds at the time. They looked too close to black people. Like they were called like the stuff that was said about. I mean, the stuff that was said about Irish were also horrible as well. We've said it about every group of people that have migrated, immigrated over here. But I'm just saying, for these people that think that act as though, you know, is something, it's different. We've always accepted these certain kinds of people. We haven't. Not in the way that they think we have, at least. The fact is for a long time, there were no restrictions at all on coming in. None. Literally none. We actually, what did I see someone, up until the Civil War, we had the equivalent of open borders. There was nothing stopping anyone from walking across the border and getting land and starting creating a home and buying and selling and doing everything. There's no such thing as borders. Not in that respect, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And Ellis Island, you didn't need much to get through Ellis Island. Didn't need anything to get through Ellis Island. You signed your name. You were done.
That's why it frustrates me. It just goes. Even the whitewashed parts of history they get so wrong. They just, and I don't. There's so much that goes into race and all of that, and I think if people would do a lot of research into it, they'd understand. Like I said yesterday, Irish isn't a race, Scottish isn't a race, um, Latina is not a race. Like I want people, Mexican is not a race. I want people to start learning what some of these words mean. So when you engage in these conversations, you actively know what you're talking about. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so Eva, here in the United States, each state, each of the 50 states gets to dictate how and what. There's like a broad overview kind of set out, but the states get to dictate exactly what's taught, how it's taught. And even in the states, it can vary within the counties. Um,
Yep.
Depending on, like, it's really different. I'm from upstate New York. In New York, everybody took the end of the year, they took the regents exams. The entire state took the same test, well, took the test on the same day. It wasn't every county. Like in North Carolina, there's 100 counties. Every county can start a different can start school different days of the year. They do their finals different, they learn different. It's also different. There's no centralized, and I think that's part of the biggest issue that we have, how wishy-washy the education is and how much it varies even in our own country.
Yep. I have always said there are certain things. I do not think a federal government has to regulate everything, but I think there are certain things that all people that want to consider themselves members of the society in the United States of America need to all learn equally. History is one of them. There cannot be 50 different kinds of history. And the fact that that is even possible is absolutely just ridiculous. It was not an awful performance, Celestial. But you're allowed to believe it was.
And yes, the difference between ethnicity, race, nationality is very, very important. And also the other comment, it is when you go to different countries, it is race is definitely a social construct. That's why it like frustrates me how ignorant a lot of people are about it. Even people that are not whitey, like I've heard people talk about stuff and I'm like, oh, and I mean, I didn't know about it when I was younger. It's stuff I'm still learning and still learning about it. But different countries do different things when it comes to race. In the United States, they recognize 5 on the census. And there's just,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna respond, chat. 140 million people would disagree with you. 145 million people would disagree with you. Fair. I was watching from inside the US. So was Kia. So was a lot of the people in this chat. What's up, Shug?
Hey, Shug.
We were playing a game last night and he kept calling me Fire Lips.
That's all the boxes. That's like race is just another way to put a box for people to be able to classify, for people to be able to justify treating people differently because of the way they look. That's really what it's all about.
Everyone was because it was the Super Bowl. Duh. No. Could have turned it off. I've not watched the halftime show before. And the controversy was made by conservatives, not by anybody else. Oh, no. You're the ones who are making it about race. You guys are the ones who are saying he should be singing in English, not Spanish. That is you guys. That is all you guys. You are the only people that care about that. Don't sit here and try and pretend that it has anything to do with us. That is a dumbass statement.
Well, it's just I find it very interesting, because I think the last census done here, I think there was 12 recognized different groups on the census.
I think for Canada, when I kind of looked it up, I want to say there's like up to 21 because they recognize the different indigenous peoples are recognized. Some of them are recognized individually.
Yep.
So that's like a big, huge difference. Like in the States, there's 5.
Oh, we try very much. We're trying very hard to continue with reparations here to try to repair relationships with Indigenous people from all the horrific things that the government and the colonizers did within this country. So I hope that every day we try to get better here, and I hope that that translates somehow, but we definitely still have a lot of work to do in regards to reparations and indigenous relationships.
The right do enjoy being like victim. There's a very victim mentality from a lot on the right. That does not mean the left doesn't have the capability of doing it. I've seen it happen here and there, but nowhere near like what the right is doing at this moment.
Well, it's because it's funny because when I was making arguments with people yesterday who were really upset that Bad Bunny performed everything in Spanish and not in English, that was really my main argument, was that English speaking exceptionalism is what I called it. I don't know if it's a term, I'm sure it probably is, but the default language that most things are done in most of the places around the world is in English. So your default response is that you expected it to be done in English, and now you're upset that you're not the center of the the thing anymore. And I'm like, you need to unpack that, babes. There are lots of other languages on the planet, and if you look at the Americas, English is not the primary language.
Yep. I mean, again, the NFL is trying to globalize. The NFL, in the long run, I guarantee, will make global teams. There will be global teams probably within the next 5 years.
Just a little bit of a history lesson for those of you guys that don't understand. I know a lot of times I hear people talk about Texas belonging at one point to Mexico. And I don't think that people understand that it was 10 states, 950,000 approximately square miles. It was just to refresh your memories, the entirety of California, Nevada, Utah were all parts of Mexico, Texas as well. Also parts of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming. It was a huge piece of the United States that belonged to Mexico. So for the people that are sitting here saying that Spanish isn't like one of our languages, do yourself some research, pick up a book and read. Let's try educating yourselves. You talk about the education system is horrible. Pick up a fucking book and read yourself.
Yeah, they've expanded. The next season there's going to be more international games than there were this year. I think it's either up to 11 or 16. I forget which number it was now. Yeah, they are pushing for a global football league.
And they do care. Here, the comment, Chevette's talking about no one cares for the NFL. I guess you didn't see all of the worldwide watch parties that were happening during the Super Bowl. And I think people need to understand time zones. So while it was, 9 o'clock or whatever, 6:30 started here at our time, think about the people that were up at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning watching the Super Bowl and partying. So to say that people outside of this country don't pay attention to the NFL is just false.
Is it as popular as football? No, it's not. But to say that nobody cares is just wrong. And that is one of the reasons they brought in Bad Bunny. I would say Big Bunny. Bad Bunny. Is because they're trying to reach a broader audience.
They're trying to rival soccer, I think, or football, the other football.
Well, just they see more money. They probably see that they have squeezed as much out of the United States market as they can.
You know what? I think the only thing I'm hoping is that the CFL can stay strong and not get swallowed in that attempt, because the CFL has been around for a very, very long time.
No one outside the US wants our football. Disagree. There are plenty of people that are fans of American football. Again, is it as big as the amount of people that like football? No, it's not. But again, to say no one is a false statement.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that commercials were kind of bad.
Oh, the commercials were horrible. There was maybe one or two that I actually saw that I was like, okay, this is funny. Most of them were cringe as heck.
I think the only one that I watched, I always like the Budweiser commercials because I love the Clydesdales. I love the horses. Like, I love the horses. Horses are like one of my favorite animals on this planet and always has been. Um, and that one with the baby eagle, I thought that was amazing. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was almost disappointed because I was like, okay, is Leonard Skinner, is it okay to support them or not? I know the new ones are part of that ratchet ass right rock concert thing that they just canceled like in South Carolina because so many people are pulling out. So I know the new members are not good, but from my understanding with the research I did, the people who were alive when Freebird was written were more leftist like.
I think the one interesting commercial that I saw, or I should say, caught me off guard, was Pepsi trying to stealing the Coke polar bear.
I didn't even like honestly truly the only two commercials I remember, and for vastly different reasons. And whoever said the Budweiser with the Clydesdale with the eagle, like when they after that commercial aired and they showed that Clydesdale and they had the eagle come, on its back, like French kiss. The other one that stuck out to me for a completely different reason, and I actively rewound it because when I looked up at the TV and I saw the end talking about those damn savings account and it had the orange one's name on it. And I was like, wait a minute, that did not have his, wait, what? And I rewound it just to make sure I saw what I thought I saw. And I was like, holy fucking shit, are we serious?
I knew it was going to be bad when the first commercial that was played after the national anthem was the Trump account commercial. I knew it was going to suck as a whole after that.
We don't get most of them here in Canada, so I think this is the first year I'm kind of like not jealous and envious because I've heard from most Americans say they were bad.
They were so bad.
So first year I wasn't actually jealous of not seeing them.
And then I saw the one that had Maha on it, but I didn't. I was like,
oh yeah, the Mike Tyson Maha commercial.
And I'm like, come on, Mike, is you have an issue with putting your hands on women and you've been I can't take away the fact that you were in the ring but you've had your head knocked around by some big ass powerful men. And you have a history of putting your hands on people outside of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So I could give two flying fucks about what you got to say about anything. Tyson is gross.
Mm-hmm.
Yup. That is a fact, not a feeling.
Do you want me to do a commercial right quick for you?
Sure.
Okay. You're gross.
Lexus, we've been talking about it for the last 2 hours. 2.5 hours.
Yeah, you late. You just late to the party. And yesterday. We talked about it yesterday, and we've been talking about it almost all day today. You just late to the party, love. So y'all, let's go ahead and do this commercial right quick. I know. Oh, stop. Oh. Sorry.
The cats are doing something fun.
Yes, at least I don't have a rooster crowing outside my bedroom window today. But anyways. So y'all, let's go ahead and do this commercial. We haven't had one in a couple days. Mike's been throwing it in at the end. Let's do all the good things. If you haven't already and you enjoy the conversation, make sure you hit that orange heart that's at the top of the screen next to his name. Send your heart me's. do all the things, collect your points. That helps both us and Mike. It tells TikTok that we do like what he's doing. I don't know if you guys understand, one of the most important things you guys can do on TikTok now, especially since the changeover, is engagement. That is what has been what I have found, even in spaces where they're having the roughest conversations, the engagement helps protect the live. So all the commenting, the liking, gifts, and it doesn't even have to be big gifts, but engagement. Just like if you're watching on the other side, as Mike has said, we start streaming on the Tubi at like around 9:30, sometimes a little bit earlier. Hang on, Blue Kravitz. I'm sorry. Hang on, come here. Sorry, y'all. Somebody wants some attention. Make sure when you go over to the other side that you're hitting the thumbs up. Keep in mind too, the Tubi View also has the podcast. Right now, Mike is on a mission he has been interviewing people that have been running for progressive candidacies across the country in all kinds of different shapes and formats. Make sure you're doing, even if you can't subscribe anywhere, listening to those, sharing those with friends and family, reposting. All of those are free ways that we can help Mike continue doing what he's doing, watching his videos, making sure you're liking, commenting, and sharing if possible, doing all the good things. I know he used to only do like a couple of episodes a week, but he's been interviewing so many people. There's quite a few coming out.
Every day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seems like every day I get in my car and I'm like, oh, there's another one I gotta watch.
When I tell you I have so many, like I keep thinking I'm catching up, and then I go into my thing that I do with recording, and I go through and I go, oh crap, I probably have 20 more than I'm editing right now, if not more, and then another 10 that I'm recording this week.
We definitely, if you have anybody that you know that's running near you, that's progressive, Mike has a couple of helpers, Rosa and Ashhole. You can send them messages. You can send Mike there's messages. He has a Discord. Make sure you guys join that. There's lots of channels. Full length conversations can be had in that space. You can forward the information to the candidates that you have. To Rash. Oh my gosh. To Rashhole. Ashhole or Rosa. Sorry. I'm sorry, Ash.
I'm totally telling Ash you said that.
They called her Rashhole. Oh my God. Oh shit. I'm so sorry. I was just trying to, in my brain, I'm ticking down in my brain, making sure that I hit and say all the things. Yeah, I don't know. Did I do all the things?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, Jen. What were you asking? Say that again. What had his name on it?
I think Jen is just my name over on the
Oh, for the
TikTok
heart.
side. Yeah.
For the heart me. And if you've been on the Tubi, you just make sure that you've hit that thumbs up.
I think thank you, Kia. I think the only thing I want to add is just, again, this app, TikTok, is being weird. I've said it before. They're adding new. They're basically trying to force me to do more stuff, to try and get things like better rates. And I'm already doing a ton of stuff. I can't do more. Like, I'm already going to be losing out because a lot of the things they're trying to get me to do is go live 6 days a week, and going live 5 days a week is already pushing it on my capabilities at this point. So if you like what we do here, please consider going over to the Tube. You can still join on the lives, and watching that stuff there helps. These progressives that are running for office, they need visibility, they need name recognition. And the best way we can do that is watching their videos through and interacting with them, which will push those videos out to more people. There's a better chance that people in their districts will see them if these videos go farther. So if we want change, if we really want change, we really want things to get better, it's going to take work on our part. And these people are ones that want to do the work. They don't want to be lifelong politicians. Promise you. I've talked to them. You can tell. They're doing it because they see a need. So many of them are veterans too. Like, it's amazing how many veterans are running for office that just see a need and they see that someone needs to do it and they say, well, you know, I'm seeing this need and someone needs to do it, so I'm going to do it. Jeff was pretty cool. Yeah, so like I said, please help out. Please watch this stuff. Please share it with people. It's really easy. It doesn't take a lot of extra work, and you'll meet some amazing people. It gives you hope. It gives you hope. You hear these people and you're like, wow, there are actually good people in the world, which is a good thing. So any help is appreciated. So please, thank you, Tiffany and Kia, for being up here. I always appreciate having you. Thank you, everyone, for the likes, the shares, and the gifts. It means more than you possibly can know. Thank you for everyone over on the tube who hung out since 9:30. Again, you guys are awesome. In the long run, I would love to make it where I'm getting the kind of numbers over on the tube that I'm getting here on TikTok, so I can not have to try and pay attention to two chats, and then we can have a real good conversation. I know a lot of people still like TikTok, but I think you like the conversations better over on the tube, if we're being honest. But anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. You guys are amazing just the way you are, and I love you all very much. Stay safe, stay healthy. Remember to sing, laugh, dance, smile. Do something that makes you happy. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Goodbye, YouTube. You guys rock.